It's just going to take everybody. It's going to take everybody to do their part. Obviously we consider ourselves a close group, kind of like a family, and we understand and we respect that each and everybody want to get through this season safely and go back and see our families after and not have any issues. So the only way for us to do that is everybody do their part and continuing to stay on top of washing the hands and sanitizing just after doing stuff, and especially at home, just kind of staying inside and respecting this time during the season to trying everybody keep everybody safe and possible. It's been really smooth over here, and as soon as everything shut down and in spring training, I came over here, and the stadium out here opened up a couple weeks after that, and they've been doing a really good job here at Petco on just keeping everything really clean. Every time we touch a dumbbell in the weight room, someone's there to wipe it down right after. So it's been really good here, and like I said, fortunately for me, it's been extremely easy to follow all these conditions and protocols because I've been here at Petco the whole time trying to get my work in during the pandemic. The first thing that comes to my mind is a sprint. It's a sprint. Baseball is usually a marathon, but I told someone the other day, I think it was Jesse, this is kind of like, in PlayStation when you just simulate the long season and get right to the important part. This is a similar feel to that. And I think, personally, baseball is a game that, anybody can win. And I think that phrase just kind of really just boosts from this season because it's a 60-game sprint. Anybody can win. I feel like the way our team's built, with our pitching and bullpen, we're a team that if we can get off some early leads, that we feel really good about handing the ball off to those guys in the back end of it. So we just got to have a sense of urgency right from game one. You always try and get out of the gates and start good, and I think that's a credit to your off season. You try and spend a lot of time in the off season and spring training, preparing, making the adjustments that you need to make for the following season. And it just seems like this year we've had a lot more time to work on those adjustments, had a lot more time to, get everything right with your body, get everything right with your swing and all that stuff. So, I think that's the beauty of it too, being 60 games. Nobody really knows stats-wise, number-wise, what's good, what's not good. So it just emphasizes winning that much more. And, personally, number-wise, I haven't really sat down and kind of broke down, is this amount of RBIs, does that translate to a 162-game season? It's just emphasizes winning that much more. There's just a lot of adjustments. I think that's what the inner squads help with so much. There's times in the infield when we're communicating, when I'm, Profar is trying to tell me a pitch that's coming or something like that, usually you whistle or do something along those lines. And now with there being no crowd, we had to make a little adjustment there because the hitter can hear you and you don't want to tip the pitch. So they've been extremely beneficial because, we've been able to kind of learn that stuff on the fly during the inter squads and not have to learn that from, game 1 to 15. I know a lot of guys, especially on the young guys, the prospects are certainly making a name for themselves. And, really I think it's such a cool and unique situation for those guys. I mean, we had our first-round pick, get drafted a week ago, and a week later he's, playing left field in a big league inter-squad game. So from a development standpoint, it just, it's a great opportunity for these guys, even just to be around all of us. And, these guys get to watch Tatis hit batting practice and Manny take ground balls at third. So just being able for those guys to have eyes on these guys on a day-to-day basis, see the work ethic, see how Manny plays 160 games every year by what he's doing in the training room and what he's doing in the weight room is extremely beneficial for those guys. And all those guys have been great. Those guys work their tail off, and they're asking the older guys the right questions, and they truly want to get better. And then when the game comes, you can see the competitiveness in them, and these guys want to come at you, and they want to prove themselves. So it makes for a competitive camp, and it makes it really fun. Facing Kenzie last night was awesome. I think just seeing him being with Paddock a lot, it just makes me feel really good about that both ways. Proud of Paddock on taking him under his wing, and at the same time you don't want him hanging around a guy, or couldn't have him hanging around a better guy than Paddock to be locked in and to understand that he's going to be a big part of this team. If we have success as a team and we're doing what we want to do in October, MacKenzie Gore is going to be a big part of that. So he needs to know that, and he needs to feel comfortable around us. And Paddock's been doing a great job of kind of settling him in and getting him acclimated with all the guys. And I tell you what, facing him last night, it didn't feel like facing a 21-year-old prospect. It felt like facing a big leaguer. And I got a chance to talk to him after the game, and he had said he didn't feel all that great. He felt like he was off a little bit, and I just told him if he was off and that's what the stuff he's featuring, then he's in for a really good career. So it's just been fun working with all these guys. It's been fun to get to know these guys, to see these guys on the field, and watch them compete against us in the games, because these guys aren't here for us to get their work in. They're here to compete and show their value.